thank you for that rendition of Sketchbook Harry. Appreciate you and your band as always. Welcome to the Hugs Not Drugs podcast. John Barleycorn here. I'll be your host, and Dr. Ugs is here. Say something, Dr. Ugs.
It's going to be a good one. I'm going to talk about emotional health. Don't worry. I'll read the script and I'll be good.
And, of course, there's Hugs Not Drugs. I'm here, and I've got the same voice as Barleycorn, and I'll do the wrap-up, and I'll talk about spirituality. John Barleycorn is going to be talking about good physical health. So here we go with that. But first, Dr. Uggs is going to do the commercial. So go for it, Dr. Uggs.
Yeah. This podcast is sponsored by one person and one person only, John Forlenza-Bailey. Last year he wrote the book Transformation of Dr. Uggs, and that's an original fairy tale that explains the progression of the disease of chemical dependency. It's not intended to be a story about blaming others. It is a story that is intended to explain, not to blame. It is a story of discovery, insight, acceptance, and finally the right choices to live drug-free if one is chemically dependent. Then there's another book that he wrote about 7 years ago, and it's treatment on the cheap. You buy this book, workbook at Amazon. You can get both books in Amazon. And, well, the workbook is designed to provide education, emotional support, and inspiration to persons suffering from addiction. It offers step-by-step lessons to people striving to turn their lives around regarding abstinence, relapse prevention, family dynamics, and self-assessment to continue to discover self day by day. Recovery's up to you. Mentors help. Journals help. You must exchange and surrender destructive behaviors for constructive ways of handling day-to-day stressors or triggers of life. So buy these books. You'll get 30 days of recovery if you follow the directions of the Road to Wellness workbook, and you'll be inspired by the transformation of Dr. Uggs. Getting good reviews on that one. Shout out to Dylan and Julian for talking to me about this. So good for you guys. Glad you're reading it. Alrighty. We're going to talk now. The commercial's over, and we're going to give it back to Dr. John Barleycorn. Oh my gosh, I'm getting as bad as these guys. Well, thank you very much. We're going to talk about the health issues right now, and we're going to talk about physical health first. So let me talk about that. John Barleycorn here. Let's start with the body. Because of my recovery early in, my sponsor told me something I absolutely hated. He said, "You're not spiritually broken, you're exhausted." I wasn't sleeping. I was running on caffeine, nicotine, and resentment. And then I wondered why I felt emotionally unstable. It was a true mystery of modern science, right? Not exactly. This is just common sense, isn't it? The 12 steps talk about HALT, HALT, for a reason. Don't get too hungry, too angry, too lonely, or too tired. My disease starts to negotiate that. And DBT talks about using some skills like treating the physical illness, balance eating, avoid mood-altering substances, adequate sleep, and move a muscle, change a thought. It turns out sobriety likes routines more than motivation. So action is the magic word in recovery. So we need to treat our physical illness, balance our eating, avoid mood-altering substances, get adequate sleep, and do some movement. And ignoring the body makes emotional and spiritual work almost impossible. So we have to
do what we think is right physically, especially physically. Some of the worst spiritual crises were actually dehydration. Relapse prevention sometimes looks like a nap, a sandwich, or a walk where I don't argue with myself. That's not laziness, that's recovery. So I'll say that again. Relapse prevention sometimes looks like a nap, a sandwich, or a walk where I don't argue with myself. That's recovery. Self-care is the least dramatic solution we consistently ignore.
Okay. Let's talk about emotional health. I'll do it as gently as I know how, guys. Don't get excited. Emotional health in recovery starts with the truth. Feelings are not facts, and they are definitely not commands. In early sobriety, emotions feel like emergencies. They're not. They're just your barometer of where you're at. Dialectic behavioral therapy teaches distress tolerance, how to ride the wave without blowing up your life. I used to treat emotions like fire alarms. DBT gives us the wise mind, not emotion mind, not logic mind, but a combination of the two. Wisdom. Let's name it attainment. Opposite action. When feelings lie, we have to do an opposite action. So if I'm feeling angry, that's probably going to set me up to use again, which I wouldn't mind, but Barleycorn would, and Hugs Not Drugs would. So they do an opposite action. They use spirituality and good physical health. They use opposite action. What's an opposite action of anger? It will be being calm and being peaceful, doing pleasant activities, maybe taking a nap, a sandwich, etc. Doing something good for oneself. The 12 steps give us an inventory instead of denial. So we have to do self-reflection. Sponsorship instead of isolation. For instance, Barleycorn and Hugs Not Drugs call people 3 times a day. They've been doing this for decades. That's why I can't get to them. Just touching base with people. Answering the telephone when it rings. What a concept, huh? And calling and asking for help and telling people where they're at and checking in with other people that may have a problem. Talking instead of acting out. That's where it's at for recovery. What do you say, Barleycorn? Well, my sponsor once said, "You're not angry, you're scared and tired." I was very angry about that insight. Yeah, that's emotional growth right there. Emotional sobriety doesn't mean we don't feel. It means we don't let feelings drive the bus. What do you say, Hugs? Huggy? Yeah, and we don't throw out emotions at people and call it honesty. Just feelings are not facts. They're our barometer. So they're not facts, but we need to say, I feel angry because, you know, I've let, I've made a decision to let Dr.Ugs do the emotional education here, emotional health education. Hey, I'm doing a good job. Come on now.
All right. That was a cheap shot. You did do a good job. But now let's talk about spiritual health. Let's talk about spiritual health without preaching, pressure, or weirdness. Spiritual health in recovery is about connection instead of control. The 12 steps remind us we're not running the universe. We need something bigger than ego. Ego is not my amigo.
Oh, for God's sake.
Service keeps us sober. If you want to really get jammed up, don't call anybody and don't offer help to somebody in need. that would really get you jammed up. So service keeps us sober. Dialectic behavior calls this mindfulness, staying present without escaping. So spirituality is awareness, not perfection. Spiritual health says, what matters today? Who can I help? Can I pause before reacting? Spirituality isn't floating above life, it's showing up and inside it. So it's less mountaintop and more daily practice. That's just the truth, guys. We have a daily reprieve based on a spiritual condition, and that's what we need to do. Wrap it up, John Barleycorn. Okay, when I neglect my body, my emotions go sideways. Wrap it up for emotions, Dr. Uggs.
When I ignore my emotions, I sabotage my body. Wrap it up on spirituality, hugs, not drugs.
And when I forget my spirit, everything feels heavier. In closing, recovery is physical, recovery is emotional, recovery is spiritual, and you don't have to master all three at once. Today, just ask, did I care for my body? Did I name my feelings? Did I connect with something meaningful? That's the work, guys. Until next time, hugs, not drugs. Take us out, Harry, and don't forget, everybody, love somebody. Love yourself so you can love somebody else. Enjoy.